Hi guys, it's Caitlin, and today I am here to talk to you about episode 4 of Shadowhunters. I have no idea what this episode was called. Okay. I'd say that I thought this episode was okay. The grade rating I would give it is about a B. Because overall, I thought the story was decent. I liked some of the things they were drawing in, especially from the later books. I really enjoyed just kind of some of the character interactions. Like, I really loved getting to know Magnus more. He kind of gives me a Captain Jack Sparrow vibe, which I'm really digging. We got some really great Malec moments that I loved. There was so much funny dialogue, but I can't give it a higher grade than that because I'm still having some of the usual issues I've been having. So let's just go ahead and get into it. It's not going to be a list of positives and then a list of negatives. It's just going to be kind of like a step-by-step as I went through the episode, the things that I noticed and I thought. So first off, I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to whoever created that intro sequence, the theme song and like the introductory videos and stars' names and stuff. I really like that. I think the music's good. I like the ambiance of it. I like the images they chose. I really dig that. Episode, it begins with Clary kind of like tossing and turning because she's having a nightmare. And it just doesn't really work for me because it's so fake. Like, it's weirdly fake. Like, I don't know if she just doesn't know how to fake toss and turn, or if she's doing her Disney Channel hilarious toss and turn, or if they told her to make it as stupid as possible. And she's supposedly in the Institute, but it's a really fancy bed. So that was a little weird. And then when she wakes up, Simon's there to comfort her. She mistakes him for Jace. And she starts telling him about how her mom brings her to this guy, which we find out is Magnus. And he says he wants to help her, and then he rips out her brain. I kind of like that. And then, like, the entire time they're having this conversation, Jace is just lurking creepily outside her bedroom, like, listening and, like, kind of peeking around the corner. And there was this really good quote that in there that I really enjoyed. It was Simon telling Clary when she's talking about how weird her dream is, dreams are the remnants of memories. And at that point, Clary is like, okay, well, I need to go talk to Jace. She barges into his room, which I'm unclear about because 1, how does she know where his room is? 2, who goes barging into someone's room, period? And 3, she didn't knock or slow down or even avert her eyes when she walks in and he's like pretty much almost naked. And there's like this really awkward, creepy interaction, both when he's not dressed, when he's getting dressed, and then when he is dressed. And then while they're talking, Simon decides that he's leaving, so Izzy comes to let him know. And he's just storming out, like throwing a fit, surrounded by all these Shadowhunters in the Institute. Not even one of them look up. That's something that's really throwing me off. This Institute is full of people, but none of them even notice what's going on around them. None of them react to anything. The only people who ever actually talk or even look at you that aren't the main Shadowhunters is like Hodge. Jace and Clary catch up to Simon and they're trying to talk him into staying. Simon's all like, come at me, bro. Do your own homework. Now, holy crap. This review is all over the place. And at some point in here, they're having this discussion with Hodge, and Hodge starts to talk about what Valentine is after, and like, he hisses in pain, his rune lights up and starts smoking, and then Clary's like, Hodge, your rune. Really? Really? I can hear it, I can see it, you can feel it, everybody noticed it. Hey, your rune's lighting up, dude. Your rune's lighting up. And then we kind of get a scene in Chernobyl where apparently the Clave has managed to infiltrate Valentine's secret lair with invisible Shadowhunters, but Valentine can see them. And here's what I don't get. If they know where Valentine is, why don't they just be like, okay, he's here, let's bounce out of here. But they're like lurking back there, just 2 of them. And so that circle member that Valentine killed in the last episode, he like walks up to him and he breathes poison and it kills them and then it kills him. And Valentine's like, oh, noble sacrifice. You killed him yourself, dude. And then we go back to the Institute where they're all getting ready to go to this rave that they've already gotten basically an agreement that Magnus is going to go to. And we see Clary and Isabel getting ready in her room. And like Clary goes behind this screen. But what I don't understand is like the entire wall of Izzy's room is a window. And it looks like it's looking out into the rest of the Institute. So I don't understand, first off, like why half of her room is a window, and secondly, like, the screen is like blocking her off from the doorway so she can be seen through the window. I don't understand why Izzy's whole wall is a window. And why her screen is placed there, and like why any of this is set up like it is. And then like she puts on this tiny black dress and these really high heels, and Jace walks in, and oh my gosh, his acting is still so bad. And he's just like, oh yeah, that's badass. If you say it's badass, it's just automatically not badass in my book now. Be better. And then he gives her a seraph blade. And he has the exact same conversation with her about seraph blades as he did in the last episode. This is a seraph blade. It lights up because it recognizes you. You know how to use it. It's in your blood. Ooh. Did she forget? Did you forget? Am I the only one who already knew this? Did everybody except me forget about this? Because it was like a copy. Like, why do we need this? The series is still new enough that everybody should still be up to date on the episodes. Why? Hey, Clary, by the way, you're a Shadowhunter. And your mom's been kidnapped. Did you know? And then we jump to Magnus, who is in his, like, warehouse secret hiding place where he's keeping all of the warlocks, and he's basically talking to another warlock about how he's going to go to this rave, and the warlock's trying to talk him out of it, but he's like, no, this is a very important necklace, I'm going to get it. And he kind of reminds me of Captain Jack Sparrow. And he's just like, you. That's my Captain Jack Sparrow impersonation. That's as good as it's gonna get, but that's also my Magnus impersonation. So yeah, it's very Captain Jack Sparrow-y because he's just kind of got this wobbly, happy-go-lucky, drunk, goofy quality to him, and I'm really, really enjoying that. I never really pictured that when I was reading about Magnus, but now once I'm seeing it on the screen, it totally works. It does make a couple of references to the Infernal Devices in this, because before he leaves to the rave, he tells this other warlock that he needs to get a hold of Tessa. And he talked about Tessa, and I'm totally fangirling now because I'm just like, I wonder if they're going to draw Tessa into the series, or if they're going to start doing flashbacks to the past, or how they're going to be working this. But the fact that he even mentioned Tessa by name when he didn't need to, and it had no necessity to the story, really, really made me happy because I'm really excited, and it's giving me a lot of heart joy, and I want to know. I want to see Tessa, and Jem, and Will, and Charlotte, and Henry, and everybody. And then Simon is at home at this point, and he's in his room for like 30 seconds. And by the way, his room is badass. Like, his bed is against the wall, and his wall is painted like is it the Golden Gate Bridge? Or is that in San Francisco? I don't know my freaking national bridges, okay? But it was painted like this bridge. It's badass. And he's in there for like 30 seconds, and then Marine comes storming in, and she's like, we were supposed to practice last night, and I waited for you, and you never showed up, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, sorry, you know, I had tons of homework. And she's like, oh, okay, I understand, you're overwhelmed by school. And then his mom walks in, and she's like, Simon, I don't know what you were doing, you were out all night, but you can't do that, you have to call me. I called you, I called Clary. And he's like, Mom, I'm 18. She's like, doesn't matter, there are still rules you need to follow. Maureen, would you like to stay for dinner? And then she walks away. And then Maureen's all upset. She's like, I thought you were doing homework, but you were out all night with Clary. What are you two dating? And he's like, no. And she's like, oh, well, good. Because I'd like to date. Oh, you poor girl. That was painful. And then we have some more bad acting, just kind of all around. And then we have like a tiny little Magnus moment where they're just all there, and then he looks over and he sees Alec, and he looks away, and he kind of does a double take, and you can just see the interest pop up on his face. Like, that was brilliant. Harry Shum Jr. just had it on lock. I'm totally feeling the feels right now. I saw the joy and the excitement and the interest on his face, and that makes me so happy. And that's where Magnus is attacked by the circle member, one circle member. I don't know what he was thinking and why it was even an issue. I'm really not understanding why they're making Magnus such a pussy so far. I'm hoping they clear that up soon. Like, maybe it's an act, maybe, I don't know what they're gonna do to fix that. As he's escaping through the portal, because he's like, oh, the circle's after me, there's only one person here, but I must run. He takes the locket with him, but they manage to get one of his buttons. And then Jace tries to track him, but it's too, like, scattered, so he and Alec have this really creepy, let's parabatai search for him. And they clasp hands, and they stare deep into each other's eyes for an extended period of time. Why is there all this awkward staring in this show? And then we have this moment where Clary's like, what's going on? And Izzy is like, oh, it's because they're parabatai. And she just describes it, and every time they describe parabatai, it's described in this super homoerotic way. Like, it makes it sound really sexual. And it kind of takes away from, like, the badass intimacy of it and just makes it sound, like, creepily sexual. Stop it. You're ruining parabatai for everybody. They go to this warehouse where Magnus has kind of been hiding everybody, and we get them fighting off the circle members to protect Magnus, and then we get these Malec moments, and I'm dying. And Magnus is like, I want to talk to the handsome one, and Jay steps forward and he's like, no, not you, him. And Alex just gets this smile on his face, and I'm just like, yes. Magnus tells Clary, okay, well, here's the photo of this pentagram. You need to go and draw this. Do you need any help? No, you're fine. Okay, so draw this pentagram, and when you're done, we can get started. So she draws it, and it looks really, really awesome. And he's like, wow, this is the most talent I've seen since Michelangelo. He was good in bed, by the way. And then he, like, leans back to stare around the person next to him, Alec. And there's, like, all these moments like that. And Alec just kind of, like, looks at him. And then Jace looks at Alec, and Alec's like, and I died. I died so many times in this episode. And Magnus is like, okay, I'm going to summon this demon. You guys hold hands. Don't do anything. Don't let go of each other's hands. Just do everything I tell you and it will be okay. But we have to hold hands to keep this demon in there. And, like, there's, like, this spark when Magnus and Alec hold hands. And I am fangirling all over Malec right now. Okay, that's all there is to it. I'm just Malec fangirling everywhere. And in exchange for the memories, I think it's like a repeat of the memory demon from book 6. This is 6, apparently. 6, they have to give up one good memory about the person they love in exchange for it to give the memories back to Clary. And they're all giving up these memories, and then Alec gives up his memory of Jace. And he's like, it's not true. And he's like, it's not true. And he breaks away from the circle, and the demon escapes, and it attacks Jace, and they're, like, trying to pull Jace back out. And they're like, Clary, help us, you know. And Magnus is basically saying, you know, there's nothing we can do. You either get your memories or you save Jace. And she stabs this demon. They totally downgraded the amount of force and effort and power it takes to kill a greater demon. And he dies, and then Jace is unconscious for, like, 5 seconds. And they're like, will he be okay? And Magnus is like, I don't know. Does he usually lie on the floor not moving? Is that a line specifically from the books? Because I swear on my life I've heard that before, and I approve. What I don't get is why Alec had to have this meltdown in the first place. It wasn't like a picture of Jace, like, naked. It wasn't a picture of him, like, dreaming about touching Jace's butt. It was just a picture of Jace. It could have been anything. They're parabatai. Obviously, they have a closer than normal relationship. The only reason anybody thought twice about it was because he freaked out. And I guess if you were in that position, it might feel like a big deal. And I guess since he hadn't come to terms with who he was and nobody else except Izzy really knew. And then I figured out at the end of the episode why I have such a problem with everything Jace says. And it's this. It feels like he's trying to use a Batman voice, but his voice isn't deep enough. Because he kind of talks like this. This is my Batman voice. It's not very good, but neither is his. And then Simon winds up outside the Hotel de Mort, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. I don't know what next week's episode is, but I didn't get to see next week on Shadowhunters. Decent episode, give it a B. Had some issues with it, but Malec totally beyond made up for it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Go ahead and let me know if you liked it, if you disliked it, what your issues were with it, what you loved about it. What was your favorite line from this episode? I will definitely have to go with that scene where Jace is unconscious on the floor after the memory demon has been vanquished, and they ask if he's going to be okay, and Magnus does that whole, I don't know. Does he usually lie on the floor for extended periods of time not moving? I love that scene. I loved everything about Malec. Hit like if you liked this video. Hit subscribe if you really liked it. And I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.
Got no place to hide, and I'm feeling like a feeling, got a hunger inside.